Hello, everybody. Got some weird lighting going. Oh, cat hair in my face. Imagine that. Just got home about an hour ago, and we've unloaded everything out of the car, and I want to take care of putting it away. So I'm trying to, get us.
Hey, y'all.
There's Scott. I don't know if he's going to join us or not. Um, so we have been on an adventure. You know what I don't have here? Yeah. Well, I'll share those. I'll put a picture on my community tab. We went to Ruby Falls, and they always, take your picture as you're going in. And so I bought the package. Probably shouldn't have, but there's a chair behind you if you want to drag it over here next to me. But we thought we'd come on and show what we've picked up along the way and maybe talk a little bit about the trip. Thank you, Teresa. Hi, JL. Hi, Angie. So while Scott's getting a chair, I got my package in from Debbie Epps. I had bought a little bit of paper and a journal from her. So I'll just show that while we're waiting for Scott. You might have to throw some things on the floor. And, yeah. Is that everything? Yeah. So she put it in a pretty bag. And I didn't buy a lot because we were going to go on our trip. And, yeah. So let's see. The first day we went to Chattanooga. And we were pretty tired from the drive up there. I might not remember everything. We're pretty tired now. Here comes Scott. He's bringing his chair. But I just bought some of Debbie Epps' really pretty papers. There's the orangish one and some green ones. And then I just like this one because it had the anatomy of a plant cell. Wouldn't fit through the other way?
No, ma'am.
Oh, dear. So I'll just put those with my paper stuff. I'll get Scott in here. And I called this the bird-brained lady, and I thought it was funny, so I bought that from Debbie. But it's just one of her flip journals.
Show them our awesome pictures.
What pictures?
The package.
It's on the bed. I didn't bring it out here. I told him I'd share it on the community tab later, or whatever they call it. They're in a bag. You can just bring the whole thing. While he's doing that, I'll tell you what we did the day before we left. Because we went thrifting the day before we left. But I don't remember where we went. I don't. Salvation Army. But I got actually, I think the receipt's in the box. We went to Goodwill and Books on Broad. This stuff came from a Goodwill, I think. Yeah.
Books on Broad's where we had that awful muffin thing.
Yeah, but where was that?
That was in Chattanooga.
Camden.
Camden?
That was it.
Oh, yeah.
The day before we went.
Yeah, the day before. That's right.
So at the Goodwill, I got a box to hold the extra DMCs that we've purchased over time. And I eyeballed it, and I thought that would be the perfect size, and they fit in there. So there was that. And then I saw this it's really dirty, but it's just a cute little mirror. There's you guys. Say hi. This was $4.99, and we got our senior discount because it was Old Fart Tuesday.
That's right.
And this was in Camden. We went to that Goodwill in Camden. Why am I having so much trouble moving around here?
Because you're hung up on my chair.
Okay. Then let's see. There was other things we got there. Oh, this is that pattern I shared. And then Debbie said she wants to see page 13. So I got to send that to Debbie. Was this at that? Did all this stuff come from the Goodwill? I guess.
I think it did. Yeah, that Briggs and Stratton. All those books came from that Goodwill.
Okay. So I got this one. It's breads from your favorites from your home economics teacher. You know what I forgot to do? I always forget to do this. Turn that stupid autofocus off.
It just drives people crazy.
Yeah. So this was a soft cover book. So it was $1. Yeah, $1. And then we got 25 cents off. So I paid 75 cents. Angie says, hi, Scott.
Hello.
And then there was that book. We have bought too many books. I saw this one on weaving, which I thought was really cool. It's got the finishing procedures and everything in it. Hi, Judy. So there was a book on weaving. That one was $2. Then Scott found this book.
I think I have an older version of this. This one's. Oh, what year is that? I don't know.
I have also got trash catching me on this side.
I don't guess it matters that I got a newer one.
Yeah.
If it's the same thing, I can always redonate it or get rid of it.
Yeah.
I like little service books. I find them interesting.
I'll give you this too.
Occasionally use them. Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Did that come from the Goodwill too? Or did that come from somewhere else?
That came from the Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, yeah. We went to the Restore.
Yeah, the Restore.
So some of this might have came from the Restore. But I don't know what.
So these were $1.
You have to tell them what they are.
These are coils, plug-in coils that go in a grid dip meter, which is a tool used in the design phase of building tune circuits for amateur radios. So, as you imagine, it's worth a little more than $1. So, but I recognized what they were, so I decided I think I'll get those. Maybe resell them.
These were never opened. Heavyweight sheet protectors, and I like to put the patterns I print off inside these. And that's what we picked up the day before we left. So now,
I'm really tired.
Yeah, we are. We may not remember exactly where we got the stuff we're going to show you because we have been on the road. We did get on I-26 today just so we could get home faster. But the rest of the time was completely back roads like US 11. And I think we got on 40 for a while. And 25.
The car fussed at us yesterday. It said, time for a break.
Yeah, it told me time for a break because I'm not used to driving the car. So I kept going over the center line or running because we're on back roads and it's mountain roads. So it's around and around and around. And
so it monitors how good you're at doing it, your lane keeping.
And it blanked up. Time for a break. Time for a break. And Scott says, it's never done that to me.
It's, yeah. So. I didn't know it would fuss at you.
Yeah. This was picked up today. Was it today?
That thrift store.
That was today, wasn't it?
Today. Super Thrift or something.
Super Thrift, but it had something in front of it, but I don't remember. I took a picture. I'm going to do a video on our trip, but I wanted to do the thrift stuff first so I can take care of it. So this is another one that Scott picked up. It's just a wee little book.
It's an auto repair manual from, I think, 43, 42. So I really like things like this because they're in great detail. Now I don't own any 1942 cars, so it's probably going to get passed along. I'm probably going to resell this, but I can assure you this is worth more than $5. Dykes Automobile and Gasoline Engine Encyclopedia. So it was $5. I guarantee you, I'll get $5 worth of joy out of looking through this, and then when I'm done with it, I'll make a couple bucks on it and sell it to somebody else.
All right. At the same store, there was a bunch of yarn. Yeah. So this is Red Heart soft spun pompadour yarn. So there was 1, 2.
How many pages are in this thing?
There was 6 of that, like this. And then in the same bag, it had this red 1 pound of Karen.
This thing's about 1,400 pages.
Yeah. And then 1 skein, Scarfy. And then there was some kind of weird, this was in there, and this. This is homespun, and then this weird skein. I think these were all in a plastic bag, but she said they keep the plastic bags, so that she took everything out of that plastic bag and shoved it in with this other box I'm going to show you. But I think the bag was like $8 for all of it. And then I think she charged me about the same. I don't have my receipt handy. It's really not important. But then there was this box, and it didn't have anything on any of the skeins or the box. So I have 3 skeins of this Loops and Threads Barcelona. It looks a little bit like puzzle yarn. And it had a skein of Country Loom, actually 2. And then this one that I don't know what it is. It's a mystery ball. And so I think she charged me $8 for it as well. So there was those. So that wasn't too bad a deal for all this yarn. Like $16. And of course now he wants out. Of course. Hang on, Howard. Hang on. So there's a little bit of yarn. Yes, you can go too, honey. I know Greg hasn't given you any porch time, has he? No. All right. And then I guess it was yesterday that we went to that the Goodwill that was in between where we were traveling. We stopped at a Goodwill. Yesterday. Today's Friday. We drove and drove and drove on Wednesday. Did we stop anywhere on Wednesday? That's when we stopped at that Restore and this Goodwill. It was Wednesday. So let me back up here.
So on eBay books, they have this Dykes Automobile and Gasoline Engine Encyclopedia listed at $39.
Oh, wait, before I do the Goodwill, Wednesday we stopped at one thrift store. More than anything, Wednesday we were just trying to get to Chattanooga, and we had no idea how long it was going to take.
The weather was bad too.
It was just misty, mountain mist all day long. So we were coming down the mountain, and I spotted that little thrift store I posted a picture of. So we went in there, and I have some Ada. This is was 225, 14 count, and it's kind of a little brownish color, brownish tan. And this whole pack of trim. It just looked really cool. It was $6 for the whole thing. And it's a vine with leaves. See them? So I thought that would be fun to use on slow stitching projects. And then speaking of slow stitching projects, I got this whole piece. I'm pretty sure it's real wool, 1 yard for $1.50. And it's a green wool, a yard for $1.50. And that place was called Reach of Clay County. Reach of Clay County. I'm trying to keep all the receipts so I can put them in our remembrance book. And then I found these at that store. It's probably something made for kids, but it's by Plaid, and it's fun to paint tool, and it's kind of a dot matrix for the letters, and they're like little stamps. So what you do is you dip it in the paint, and then you can pop it down, and then you can fill in between the dots, or you can just leave it as dot lettering. See the dots on there, and they're individual little ones, and that was $1. So couldn't pass that up.
You snuck and took pictures of me.
I did. We'll do a photo slideshow video of all of the pictures because we took a bunch of pictures. So
we ate at that nice little place yesterday. What was that? Yeah, it was yesterday. Or was that the other day?
Wednesday, where did we eat? We ate at Cracker Barrel. Blech.
We ate at that little outdoor restaurant.
That was after Ruby Falls. Yeah. That was yesterday.
That was quite good. I enjoyed that.
Massey's?
Yeah.
That was good, and we got to eat outside, so that was really nice. Then the Goodwill we stopped at on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. I'm so mixed up in my head. We found some of those switch insulators to put behind your wall plates. You can put these in, and it blocks air drafts. Yeah. So we got 2 packages of those for 97 cents each. And of course, I found more yarn. It's $1.97, and it's the Mandala Baby, and I have 2 skeins of it. Somebody had started something and then gave up. So I'll add that to that. And then Scott spotted these. I have no idea what I'm going to use them for, but he said those look cool. They were $1.97 a package, and what they are is just little, I would almost call them wood plugs, but they don't have the plug part of it. It's just the rounded over top. So I don't know what I'll do with them, but we snagged them. And then I saw this little package of buttons, and there's rickrack and elastic and some other trims. And the rickrack is perfect to use on the Project Dress a Girl dresses, just to add a little bit of extra. I'm not going to open this right now.
Look at that. How neat that is.
That is cool. It's dusty. Things are dusty. So I'm going to put this with this yarn.
I've already got $5 worth of joy out of that book.
And today we visited the thrift store where I got the big box of yarn. That was today. And then the lady at that store said, you need to check out the burlap bunny. So we went over to the burlap bunny and picked up some things. Scott got this one. Here you go.
Oh, yeah. 1969 Fisher Body service manual for General Motors products.
He just loves old service
I
manuals.
like old reference books, technical reference books, mechanical or electrical or electronic. I just love this kind of stuff.
And I don't remember what you paid for that.
I don't think it was much. Where do we get that?
I thought that was at the same place we got at the Bunny.
At the money?
Because remember, she said, "Oh, y'all like books."
Yeah. I don't think we paid much.
No, mine had a sticker on the back. I think that somebody marked that page.
It's not part of the binding, is it?
I don't think so. But anyway, I paid $4.99 for this one. It's embroidered silk ribbon treasures by Helen Dafter. And it just looked really pretty and lots of interesting projects.
I don't think this was more than about $10.
No, I don't think so.
I think it was about 10 or 12 bucks. It wasn't much.
And then Scott had to have this. So we'll unwrap it.
I don't know why I was so drawn to this. I just kept going back and looking at it.
So I told him, I said, if it's made you walk over there this many times, it's drawn to you and it needs to come home.
Well, he's just a fine looking fellow. That's all I can say.
There he is. We paid $30 for him, but
yeah, $29.
Yeah, she's got a sticker on the front too. And I thought she was going to call and see if the vendor
we'll try to get a bargain,
but she never did. So isn't he handsome though? And I told him, I said, I can hang this above the Jeff Rabbit somewhere. We'll do that. So that was Scott's.
I like that frame
picture. The frame is cool too. So I think he's a gorgeous bunny rabbit. But I think that's the extent of our blowing of cash.
I wonder if that's some print related to the different breeds of bunnies, of rabbits.
I don't know.
Like maybe that came out of some reference somewhere.
We'll have to look up Lisa Hilliker.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. There's her signature. And then we were talking with the girl at the Burlap Bunny, and Scott is asking her if she knew any good reputable realtor groups. So we went and we spoke with a realtor and talked with her for a while and told her we're not interested, in moving anytime soon, but we'd just like to know what the market's like. And so she's going to send us periodically some listings. And then, oh God, don't drop it.
I don't want to drop it.
But we also the Greenville, Tennessee Museum is absolutely free. It's 3 stories. It's part of a building that's housed with the city's credit union. It's a real old building. And we walked through their museum. That was very interesting. And then across the street was a little tiny car museum. And we went in there. Well, Scott went in there. I sat in the car. After doing the 3 floors, Ann says, use Google Lens. I think that's probably what he's doing. No way. It's saying it's worth over $70. But we'll go into more of our trip on that video. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview. My fingers are all torn up. But we've had a blast. Oh, that reminds me.
Stuff.
If I can get them out here. I put all of the different things in this one package that came with the pictures, but they take your picture just in this cavern area, and then they superimpose you over the waterfall picture. So this waterfall that you see here, it's if I remember right, it's 420 feet underground. You ride a glass fronted elevator down. So as you're going down, you see the rock wall flying by, and then you have to hike back in, and they have it all dark when you first get there. And once they get everybody in the group, you're taken down in groups. Once everybody's in there, they click the light show on, and so the light color stays clear for a while, and then it turned to blue and pink, and it was just gorgeous. And I took a bunch of pictures. Scott took some pictures, but that's just the picture of us. And then they had us do thumbs up and put that on a different couple postcards. Yeah, see, there we are with our thumbs up next to the waterfall, even though that's not where it was taken. It was taken just in a cavern, and then they lifted us off and put us in there. But there was a young couple walking along in front of us, and she was really tall. I mean, taller than the fella she was with. And I kept worrying about her because the cavern at some points would come down quite low, and she eventually did. She smacked the daylights out of her head, and I just felt so bad for her. And I was like, and he was like, sorry, I'm supposed to be watching out for you. And I was like, all I could think of is, even me is shorter than Scott and shorter than this fella. I just kept ducking because it just came down so low at times. But the gentleman that found Ruby Falls found it on accident. And to discover it, they were climbing through caverns that were only 18 inches tall. So, I mean, he was...
Nothing I do.
No, Scott was like freaked out just by going in. But we had so much fun. We went somewhere out. Oh, we went, of all places, yesterday, because he was so sweet and took me to lunch and did the cavern thing with me. Then we went to the tow truck museum. Now, that was $10 each to get in. And it was a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. But he was in hog heaven, I think. Had a good time. So we'll go into that when we put the video together, or it'll just be a slideshow. I don't know which, since we're talking about it here. And we've driven a lot of miles. A lot of it just beautiful countryside, back roads. It got a little dicey on 26 because we hit 26 at rush hour, so between 5 and 6. And there was one area where construction's going on, and this traffic started, it would speed up and go, go, go. And then all of a sudden, everybody was slamming on brakes. So it was like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here.
I only got flipped off once.
Yeah.
And I think that may be a new record for me on vacation.
Then we went to a not so good Italian restaurant for lunch today. I won't recommend. Don't remember the name of it. I took a picture of it, of the menu cover, thinking, oh, I'll put that in my book, and I'll just put a note. No, don't go here ever again. Across from the museum, there was United Methodist Church that just looked cool. I love the architecture of churches, but I didn't get the picture of the part that really caught my eye because it was on the other side. But it's a pretty cool looking church there. Oh, Scott keeps slamming me towards y'all. And the museum was really interesting that we went to. But I'll do a slideshow of all those pictures.
So that museum it's housed in the old high school building there in Greenville, Tennessee. Has all these big, expansive windows across the front. It gets a lot of good natural light in it. But I can't help but wonder how many bored high school students were looking out those windows.
Yeah. We took this picture in the museum. There was that statue of that grizzly bear. It's a stuffed grizzly bear, and it's full size. And so we're smiling. We should be going, ah! But we didn't. There was the history parts of it were very interesting. Did you know that there was the mysterious lost state of Franklin? It was a state from 1784 to 1788. And it was quite interesting. And I just there was like this document, and underneath it had, somebody had printed it out, took the time to make sure they read it correctly. Because, that old style cursive is almost impossible to read. But I was reading through that, and it was quite interesting.
Didn't they cede part of it to North Carolina and part of it Tennessee?
I think that's what it said. The story of America's first secession. It was quite interesting. And then Scott pointed out this collection of arrowheads there. Kind of done up.
My maternal grandfather farmed 40 acres near the Saluda River in Greenville. And when he would plow the fields, we'd walk along behind him looking for spear points and arrowheads. I guess because that was in close proximity to the river, that was probably a good hunting area for the indigenous people that lived there.
Yeah.
Every now and then you find a musket ball or a piece of shot.
Let's see. They covered just about all of the history of Tennessee from like the beginning on through.
From the Paleolithic up.
Yeah. They had this gorgeous crazy quilt hanging on the wall, and it had some beautiful stitches, and then the woven. But look at this one that was done with men's ties. That's a quilt all done with men's ties, and that was just gorgeous. They had a few cars in the downstairs of it. Some of the buildings we passed, I just grabbed a snapshot as I could. Just really cool old houses. Like, it's just, Scott was driving and I would just snap a picture. So some of the pictures you guys will see are just on the fly, literally.
Just things we thought were cool.
I took a picture of this teddy bear because it made me think of the bears that Ann and I made. But look at him. He's a little red, white, and blue teddy bear. I left him there, though. This is the burlap bunny. That's the front of the burlap bunny. Antiques and more.
It's a good thing we didn't take the truck.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of stuff I liked in Burlap Bunny.
That was a cool water tower. What else? Water. There was so many bodies of water.
Oh, there's so many lakes and ponds and streams and rivers.
And creeks. We saw some men today fly fishing.
That eastern side of Tennessee is just a water-rich environment. Very green, lots of water area.
And I loved all these pedal cars. Those are all children's pedal cars.
That was in that tow.
That was in the tow museum. Yeah. I'll share all of these later, but I'm just trying to pick out some of them. When we're getting ready to go in, I told Scott, I said, sit down on the bench and I'll take your picture. And
so the first commercial record number one, was built by this Miller company, and it was the first dual boom modern style record, and it was built on I think that was what, a 1916 Cadillac.
I don't think I
chassis.
took a picture of it.
But they have one there. It's just absolutely amazing. That's it right there. That's record number one.
The first record ever done.
It has the dual boom hoist system.
And they do a lot to commemorate the people that are lost.
Yeah, they provide assistance to families when a wrecker operator is killed or injured.
That picture just needs to go in the trash because it's.
It didn't cost us anything. Just a few electrons.
This cost us. This was $60-something to go down there. I was looking for the waterfall. This was coming back up.
So I'm a little claustrophobic.
Yeah, he kept going, trying to calm himself.
He's going.
But the waterfall falls, and I can't remember the height of it, but you had to look way up to see the very top of it. And the man that was looking, he was looking to expand the caverns and have them, and he had no idea this waterfall was inside the mountain. So he broke through, and they just discovered this open area where that waterfall is. And
I think it's about a 200-foot high waterfall.
I know we were 420 something feet underground. And they kept saying, do not touch the stalactites and stalagmites because it kills them. It makes them so they won't grow. And there was a group of children in there. And our guide was telling the other guide's group, no, don't touch. But at that Ruby Falls, they have things like, she kept saying, and you can come back this weekend and do the zip line. And I'm like, probably not going to happen. Yeah. Scott's got some good pictures too. Yep, there's the waterfall. Sorry, we're just. Oh, and the white you see here in the very middle, that was just like this whole section of daisies. And then there was like daisies everywhere, blooming along the highway, just everywhere. And I kept thinking, oh, I would love to stop and make a crown out of those daisies. So anyway, we had a blast. I think we need to wrap it up because we are like really tired. So
I feel like I'm just rambling on.
Yeah, I'm just rambling too. So sorry for this rambling video, but we wanted to share what we picked up and get that out of the way. And we'll after we've slept, I will do a video of the trip. It might take me a little bit to get all the pictures because I have pictures on the two phones. I have pictures on my 35mm camera. So, and the ones on the camera will probably be a whole lot better than the ones on the phone, but who knows? All right. So y'all take care and thanks for watching and asking if we are okay, checking in with us. All right. Bye.
Bye.